I arrived 15 minutes early for my 9:30 a.m. job interview. I checked in with the receptionist who said to have a seat. Then she called the interviewer Shelley to let her know that I was there. Shelley's response was, "She's here already?" Although I've never heard a response like that, I decided to wait. At 9:43 a.m., Shelley peeked her head out of a door that led to a long hallway and said, "Jane," and then waved her hand gesturing me to follow her. She walked far ahead of me like she was in a race. We entered her office and she immediately sat down and then answered the ringing phone. She was on the call for about 12 minutes. Then she began looking around for my resume. After an eternity, she finds it. She was rushed, overwhelmed, and distracted. Without looking up, she asked, "Tell me about yourself." While I was speaking, she was looking at her watch, typing on her laptop, and it looked like she was texting on her phone. After I told her about my extensive experience in human resources, she asked redundant questions about my experience. Then, she began what I call the gotcha questions. The ones asked that tried to make one feel stupid, incapable, and insulting. She spoke a lot of jargon and she spoke condescendingly. It was as if she knew that she had the power to decide whether I got the job and she was relishing every moment of her power. I wondered if this power that she has is new. Why did she feel the need to treat me like a peasant? Why did she think I was beneath her? Applicants were allowed to submit supporting documents such as certificates from school with their application. I submitted my Dean's List certificate. When I asked her to explain a word I wasn't familiar with, she condescendingly said that she'd expect someone who was on the Dean's List to know that word. Every time she asked me a question, she'd lean in and look at me very intensely. And then while I'm talking, she'd lean back in her chair. I felt like this was an interrogation. She was literally gloating. I thought for a moment that perhaps she was testing me. Maybe she wanted me to demonstrate my high emotional intelligence. But this was beyond a test. I'm very familiar with testing candidates, and this wasn't it. Since I happen to have many years of experience in interviewing candidates, I decided I would try to sympathize with Shelley, who was obviously busy and distracted. I said that I've been a busy one-person HR team for more than 100 people and I understand having to hold interviews while busy with other duties. I looked at her while saying this. I waited for a sympathetic response or for her icy behavior to melt. It didn't. In fact, it seemed to anger her further. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I knew this wasn't a job interview. This was someone on a power trip or someone who may already know who they plan to hire but must go through the interview process anyway. Perhaps she was jealous of me or she had an intense instant hatred. Of course, I couldn't know why she was rude and abusive, but I knew I couldn't just sit there and take it anymore. I will tell you how I handled the worst interview ever. But first, here are some tips on how to handle a situation when an interviewer is rude or abusive. 1. Stay calm and composed. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't let the interviewer's unprofessional behavior rattle you. Maintain your poise, speak slowly, and avoid getting defensive or emotional. This shows you can handle pressure. 2. Determine the motivation. Try to assess if the interviewer is deliberately testing how you respond under stress or if they are simply rude. This can help guide your response. This is testing the candidate technique. 3. Use pattern interruption. If the interviewer goes on an aggressive rant, politely interrupt with an unrelated question to break their pattern and reset the tone. 4. Remain confident and self-assured. Don't allow the interviewer's tactics to undermine your confidence. Continue highlighting your qualifications and expertise when appropriate. 5. Try to gain control. When feeling pressured, ask insightful questions about the role or company to regain control of the conversation's direction. 6. Decide if you want to continue. If the interviewer's conduct is truly abusive and intolerable, you can politely end the interview and remove yourself from the situation. Provide feedback if appropriate. After an egregiously unprofessional interview, you may want to report the interviewer's behavior to the company's HR or internal recruiter. The key is to stay level-headed, maintain your professionalism, and not engage with or escalate the interviewer's rude behavior. With poise and confidence, you can demonstrate your ability to handle difficult situations while also assessing if the company culture is a good fit. Now let's get to what I did when it happened to me. Like most people, I really needed a job, but I didn't want to work with someone who'd speak to me like that. I left the interview and then I spoke with the HR manager about it a few days later. While she sounded compassionate on the phone, I don't trust that she spoke to Shelley about her behavior. Have you ever been subjected to the worst job interview ever? If so, share your experiences in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe for more valuable content and ring the bell to stay updated on all our latest videos. Until next time, keep striving for success in your career journey.